Me now is North Carolina Congressman Mark Harris. Congressman, good morning, and your thoughts on all of this.
Well, good morning, Cheryl. Thank you for having me. And yes, indeed, as we arrive back in D.C. this morning, I think all eyes are set to make sure that we begin to move forward. Listen, we're in a position that we should have never been in. The Democrats took a position of being obstructionist to everything that President Trump was trying to get done. And so they played that role quite well in trying to obstruct here and trying to obstruct there. But I think Republicans have been committed to getting Border Patrol and getting ICE funded for the next 3 years. And I think that this reconciliation package that has now come out of the Senate Friday morning early, they got it passed out, is poised for us to take it up early this week and make sure that we get it to the president's desk. You know, the president's goal was that we would have it done by June 1st. And other things popped up, and the Senate didn't get their job done. And listen, if I'm disappointed in anything, it's the fact that my colleagues in the other chamber have just dragged their feet so long, because this is a critical time in our country, and we need to make sure that we're backing law enforcement and that the Department of Homeland Security has all of the assets they need, and that includes our Border Patrol and ICE able to do their jobs.
Well, okay, so let's talk about that, because you mentioned your Senate colleagues. They did block an extension of Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, FISA. That was a 47-52 procedural vote ahead of the program expiring this week. But a major point of contention with this was President Trump's appointment of Federal Housing Director Bill Pulte as acting director of national intelligence. Senate Democrats urged GOP leaders to pressure the president into withdrawing that choice. They threatened to tank reauthorizing FISA if the White House refused. Democrats argued Pulte, he doesn't have any national security experience, but President Trump says his work leading Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac is going to overlap with these responsibilities. So I want to get your thoughts on that. And also, I want you to listen to Congressman Eric Crawford. He was on with Maria last week, and she asked him about Pulte. And I want you to listen to what he told her.
What's your take on Bill Pulte as DNI?
Well, first off, the fact that these Democrats over in the Senate are wringing their hands about a potential nominee, he's an acting DNI. That's what the president has stated. So it's not as though he needs their opinion because he's acting. He's not asking for him to be confirmed. The argument is that he doesn't have any national security experience. Well, take a look at some people who did have national security experience. People like John Brennan and James Clapper. James Clapper was the DNI under Obama, and he helped orchestrate the Russia collusion hoax against President Trump. That's what IC experience gets you. If that's all you're worried about, then maybe you should think about something else. As far as the Democrats using this as an excuse to say no to 702, you're saying no to national security because you're butthurt about the fact that you weren't consulted about a nominee that the president has put forward in an acting capacity. So get over yourselves for 5 minutes. Let's worry about national security and move on to the next challenge.
But, Congressman, still, you had 7 GOP senators that voted against reauthorizing FISA because of Bill Pulte.
Well, you did. But here's the reality in all of this, Cheryl. It's like I mentioned at the beginning. The Democrats are taking on the role of obstructionist. Whether it's Trump derangement syndrome or whatever it is, they want to try to stop everything that President Trump is trying to do. And I think Chairman Crawford is exactly right. This is a person, first of all, the president has made it clear that he's not choosing Pulte for the long term. This is an interim position. And he's putting him in there because he feels like he can bring some efficiency to that department, and I think that is certainly his prerogative as president to have somebody in there that he trusts to be able to do that. So I think that, again, it's much more a game that the Democrats are playing to try to obstruct progress, whether they want to threaten FISA or whether they want to threaten reconciliation or any other things that they do. And yes, I mean, there are some Republicans that at this particular stage that we're in right now are playing a part in obstructing things that the president wants as well. And that's not good. And that needs to stop. And I think that it's important, particularly that we move forward on these things because national security is at stake. We've got the World Cup going on right now. They say that's like having 70 Super Bowls, and not to put the resources, but rather play political games with law enforcement. That's something the Democrats Democrats are going to have to answer for this November.
Okay, well, but again, we have to reiterate there were some Republicans as well. So we'll see where this goes with the House now. So I want to move your attention to the midterms, because Californians are wondering who's going to advance in these two key primaries. Votes are still being counted nearly a week later. In the race for mayor in L.A., Spencer Pratt, he's now in third place after a weekend of mail-in votes. Put Councilwoman Nithya Raman ahead. Now she's currently ahead by half a point. Still no results for the second gubernatorial candidate either. Right now, Steve Hilton is ahead of Tom Steyer by roughly 4%. The winner there is going to face Javier Becerra in November. But this is starting to give us a clear picture of how some of the nation's most high-profile midterm races could shake out. Former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy told Maria Sunday about the House's chances of staying red, and this pertains to you. Listen to this, sir.
It's a referendum on the mismanagement what these Democrats have done in their managing of their states, of their cities and others. So there's an opportunity. It should make people want to run for office. They don't have to have been in it before, but bring that management skill in. You can challenge Democrats in some of the most democratic areas because they haven't managed well. It means that if Republicans unite, if they have a clean message, history is not on their side, the party in power normally loses seat at a time, they have a real opportunity. And I have a greater belief than I did a month ago that Republicans have an opportunity to keep the House if they're really focused.
Congressman, your reaction, because, we've heard so much that, this always happens. Whoever the party is in power in the White House, they lose the House to come the midterms. He's saying not so fast on that.
Well, and I agree with him, Cheryl. I mean, if you stop and think about it, we're dealing with a Democratic Party that has just gone further and further and further to the left. They're not even running any kind of mainstream message. They are drifting further to the left every day. And I think that Kevin's right. I think that if we continue to move the ball down the field, we continue to stay focused on our message, get the job done of governing that we can do, then I believe that the voters are going to come back in the fall of 26 and help us finish the work that we started in 24. There was a mandate. I believe a mandate was given in the election of Donald J. Trump to this second term. And when we gave us the Senate and the voters gave us the House and said, now govern together, again, the Democrats have been quite effective at being the obstructionist that they tend to focus on being in this situation. But at the same time, if we'll unite and we'll stay focused, and I believe all of the principles are in place for this economy to really ramp up and take off. We see signs of it. We realize we're dealing with this conflict in Iran, and that is certainly having a toll on things. But I believe as that gets wrapped up, as all these principles that we put in place over the last year and a half continue to work, that we're going to be in a much better position come September, October, into November's midterms.
There you go. There you go. Congressman Mark Harris, great to have you on the program this morning, sir. Thanks so much. We'll be right back, everybody.